Bonjour, Anin, Tansi,
Bonjour.
and welcome back. We are had a little problem there. It was my fault. I just want to take full responsibility because we're going to be talking about traditional indigenous cuisine. I thought that I'd make some bannock and tea, and unfortunately my bannock caught on fire, and I had to call the fire department. And then I tried to put the fire out with my tea, and it fell on the cat. And now, anyway, we're gonna continue on. I'm sorry for the delay. This time we are in for a real treat, a tasty treat, recreating our interpretation of traditional indigenous cuisine into the new progressive standard. What does that mean? Well, let's find out. We have got Amede Thompson. Hello, Amede is a full status indigenous member of the Rocky Bay First Nation. Amede is committed and infatuated with being a culinarian. He brings all his knowledge, experience, and education to the table by combining science with a unique perspective, understanding, and vision for the future of the culinary arts. Wow. In the pursuit of advancing progressive Canadian Indigenous cuisine, Amede has worked with well over 67 executive chefs, performed various management roles, and regularly fulfills associated positions in both the front and back of the house. It's his dream to become Canada's first Indigenous Top Chef Canada. Wouldn't that be awesome? And maybe even the world one day. Please make welcome to our dais, Amede. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? Yeah, so that was a great introduction. Thank you for that there, Gary. So first off, I wanted to just introduce myself. My name is my name is Amede Thompson. I'm from Rocky Bay First Nation. I started my culinary journey in 2009. I attained my culinary diploma, and then ended up working in a lot of the top restaurants in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And then after a while, I just kind of wanted to take my career to the next level. And then I applied for my culinary degree in Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, where I later achieved my culinary degree with 3.5 GPA. And then I went to apply to many other places all over Canada, Ontario, mainly Thunder Bay. So I am excited to be presenting to you all some of my learning concepts that I've learned over the years. I am a self-proclaimed hunter, fisherman, and also a professional culinarian. My goal and vision is to take traditional Indigenous cuisine and then evolve it into more of a progressive standard and get it more recognized out there as it's starting to build up now more. Indigenous cuisine is really taking a huge spotlight. And so my goal is to really take our traditional bannock and make it into a more contemporary dish. I have some examples and want to show you guys later, but for now, I just want to show you guys some traditional Indigenous cuisine, you know, taking our mother ingredients, corn, squash, and beans. Right now I'm featuring it in my hotel right now. I'm creating a new culinary program from the ground up. I'm hoping to really highlight our cuisine and put it on the map here. One of the dishes I prepare will be using wild rice and making it into a bannock chip. I'm also using bison, which I'm incorporating into my menu, making a bison chili. I wish this is more of a in-person event because I would love to show everybody everything and get them to taste my cuisine and my interpretation of progressive Indigenous cuisine. I really worked really hard over the past 14 years of my career to get to this point in my life. I have a huge opportunity here, made as executive chef. as you could see from my my uniform. Yeah, so I wish I could show you guys everything here that I'm doing. As some of you may or may not know, that this industry is a really tough one to get into, and I really hope on feeding you all one day, and then even presenting myself on the culinary stage. Okay, next slide. All right. So here is a picture of our typical traditional indigenous dishes. So we got like the carrots, the beans, we got a big chunk of moose roast there. And yeah, so I really want to take all those typical dishes that we eat today. Well, nothing beats our mother's bannock, and we all could compete and say that our mother's bannock is better than their mother's bannock, and that's kind of something that I always hear a lot over the years. It's been my passion, and I recently got invited to go up to Ottawa. They flew me up from Thunder Bay, Ontario, all the way to Ottawa, and put me up in a nice, expensive hotel room, and had its own kitchen. And I ended up going to a tasting for 1 hour, and just that was my interview, and it was a huge honor. I got selected I think it was 3 out of 100 applicants. So they narrowed it down to, out of 100, they narrowed me out of 3 of them. And then unfortunately didn't get the job. I never got called, but one of the dishes that I presented was my take on a authentic indigenous Indian taco. I made a wild rice bannock chip, and then I made buffalo chili, and then I incorporated squash, beans, and corn into it, and then it was really delicious. And I used micro cone shoots. So it's some of the dishes that I really I also incorporated goose liver, bison ribeye, and some wild ramps. I grilled them and sauteed them and presented it on the dish. I'll show you guys more later how it ended up working out too. Next. So here is a example of where I want to take our cuisine to. My dream and my goals is to create a progressive indigenous cuisine, to take our ingredients that we known since birth, since our mom and grandmother's kitchen, and I want to refine it to more or less kind of like what is shown here on the screen. So we all know lobster is technically indigenous. It comes from the Turtle Island. It comes from our areas, more specifically on the East Coast. But lobster is indigenous, and it actually does originate in the area. And we got some little ramps. We call them wild onion. So this is kind of like the example that I want to do. And at the bottom of the base of it is a kind of like a hybrid sauce. It's called a foam. So what we do is we emulsify our stock or our sauce with a food additive called soy lecithin. And we use like a special little blender, and we incorporate air into the sauce, and it foams it up, and it makes a nice frothy, airy sauce. So this is lobster with a ramp sauce with ramps, steam ramps, and a little ramp chip. Next. So here's a little picture of I teach and mentored a lot of young indigenous students over my years. I'm actually 33 years old, and my goal is to combining traditions, technology, and science with innovative thinking together. That's what made me into the chef who I am today. And I'm very, very proud of it. So back in the day, our people never had the equipment or science or technology that we have today. We have all kinds of equipment that enables us to make better food, more colorful, more flavorful, and so on. So yeah, so the next slide will show some of the ingredients that we typically know and work with. As we know, corn is something that we really, really work with on a daily basis. We work with squash, we work with beans, we work with moose, and then on the right table is some other ingredients that's cooked down. And so I want to kind of stray away from the not so colorful representations of our traditional dishes. I really want to like jazz it up. I really wanted to make it more colorful. I want to make it more visually appealing. I want it to smell delicious. I want it to taste delicious, look delicious, and also feel delicious too, because it's a huge part of being a chef is not only just making food taste delicious, but also making it look, and like everything said, is when we eat something, we want to have crunch, we want to have sour, we want to have sweet, we want to have umami, bitter. It's a really hard thing to do nowadays, particularly with combining science and with traditional values into it. I'm an avid hunter and forager, and I'm a professional fisherman. My specialty is walleye. I've been fishing and hunting with my dad since I was able to do it, and I really love doing what I do. I when I applied for culinary school, I didn't even know I was going to be going into culinary school. I picked 4 courses, and the 4th one was culinary, and I didn't even know what I was getting into. So I went to the first day of class, and I fell in love with it, because if I could do that, then if I could do hard, intensive labor work, I could do this. So ever since then, I really told myself I want to work at the best places. I want to get the best education. I want to get the best experiences from my dad, from my grandmother, from my mother, from teachers. And I really spun it around, and it's an honor to be in this position as executive chef. This place I work at, it's been built in 1970s, and it had some amazing chefs here, and it's a huge honor to be a part of this. I'm building up a professional culinary program from the ground up. I actually hired 4 people so far, and it just gives me like a lot of like gratification and a lot of excitement, because I get to put my own spin, and I get to put everything that I work so hard for in becoming the chef who I am now. Because in order to qualify for Top Chef Canada, I have to be in a position of executive chef or secretary de cuisine. And now that I have this opportunity, it's a lot of work, and I've been working 80-hour weeks, and sometimes, but I also have a family. I have a 5-year-old son, and my fiance is pregnant with my daughter. And my son comes in the kitchen with me, and it really makes me so proud, and makes me feel so great that my son gets to see what I do, and I get to go home whenever, because I just stay in the hotel in a villa. And wow, I'm really happy to be where I am right now. Really happy, and I can't wait to show everybody what I've been doing here. And with this whole COVID, I was one of the first people laid off, because I worked at the Delta Marriott, and I was started off as a cook, and then I ended up working as chef de cuisine, and then COVID hit, and then that was it. I lost my job, and it was a tough one. So I really can't wait to do more in-person events, because to do this kind of event, more or less, it'd be better to have people there to smell the food, to see the food and stuff. Because I'm going to show you guys I got some links to some dishes that I created over the years. And I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you ever want to see any of my content that I create, I would more than be happy to talk to anybody that reaches out to me. I will show them anything that they want to see. I would take the time and effort just to make sure that you get a great understanding of what I'm trying to do here. But next slide, and I just want to show you guys some examples there. This is kind of what I created a hashtag indigenous cuisine, hashtag indigenous cuisine. If you look at that hashtag, I'm sure you guys will see my name plastered all over it with a lot of creations that I've done. So it's up to us to really put our spin on indigenous cuisine and show the world what we could do with our food. Because the French, the English, and everyone all over the world is taking our ingredients and doing their spin on it. And it's just like, I'd rather see our people be innovators, than which they are. It's been a huge explosion of indigenous chefs, and particularly in Ontario, where I'm from here, we got Chef Francis Rich, which was on Top Chef Canada. I think I was supposed to be on there 1 year, but I ended up having to go to culinary school instead. If I was there, I feel like I would have won it, but 8 years later, I think I have the skills and talents now to really knock it out, because I think I'm one of the few chefs in the world that is certified in molecular gastronomy. I have my certification from Harvard University as a molecular gastronomist, food scientist. And so I really appreciate that everybody really comes together and works together in this, because it's only going to benefit us all, and show the world that progressive Turtle Island cuisine is here to stay and is here to be on the world stage, like the French cuisine. As you can see, it's some of our people cooking in the background there. Looks like I think that's my grandpa, or I think that might be Jerry actually, making some of his moose stew there. And then, I really love Jerry's cooking, man. I can't get enough of it. I can't wait till he tries his bannock. But so, and the other side is like, I want to really bridge that gap of our traditional and our science, and I kind of want to bring it together. And that's what I see myself as. I see myself as that bridge. And I really want to bring up the next generation of up-and-coming chefs. And yeah, it's been a really long and hard ride, but it's been a good one. So I don't know if Jerry could pull up some of my examples that I have on the next slide. So I got quite a bit there. Hopefully you could pull some magic there off the first one.
Hi, Chef. I think maybe we should move on, Chef.
Yeah, I have some photos, but I mean, it's just, they're connected right to my account, but I mean, I have all on my phone here.
Great. So, Chef, we have a few questions that have come in for you from the people viewing the show this morning. And one of our first questions is what is your TikTok username?
Oh, my TikTok username is Chef Amede Thompson.
That's great. I'm sure a lot of people would like to follow you. I personally follow you on LinkedIn, and I just love your photos of your creations. It's very inspiring for the home chefs in the group. Another question we have for you, Chef, is it would be great to order a meal from you. Do you have any meal ordering services or a way that we could access some of your food?
Yes, I do. At the hotel here, I don't know if you're in Southern Ontario, but our hotel has online food service ordering, but that's just for the area. Personally, I'm going to be creating a online meal kit service pretty soon. So you're able to order bannock right from me.
That sounds yummy.
Oh, it will be yummy, Jerry.
Yeah. Now, do you have a website, Chef, where people will be able to keep up to date on your activities and future offerings?
Yes, I do.
And what
It's,
is that website?
https www.professionalculinarian.com.
Great. We'll try to get that up in the chat for all the viewers. Another question we have coming in from Petra. Petra would like to know if you are open to doing presentations for high school students.
Yes, I am. I actually done one for Quetico Lodge in Northern Ontario. I went out there and hosted an event to do cook lake trout, and it was a huge success.
Oh my goodness, I think we may have lost the chef. We're going to try to get Chef Amede back with us here. Once again, we'll just bring up our play to win code again. We want to make sure that we get that out there for you. We are trying to get the chef reconnected. Yes, I think we may have lost the chef, but you know who we have?
Taught and mentored about 10 and yes.
Go ahead, Chef. I'm sorry we lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, no, I did a special event there at Quetico. We taught the students there how to process lake trout from head to tail. Yeah, I'm actually available. I have my own consulting kind of company, and I do a lot of teaching about indigenous ingredients, moose, walleye, lake trout, rabbit, stuff like that.
Excellent. Jerry has rejoined us now. Jerry Big Bear is back in the house, and we're going to turn over the MC duties to Jerry here now that he's back.
All right, well, miigwech for that, and I really appreciate your workshop here, because cuisine is, I mean, everybody has to eat, right? Man, woman, child, beast, we all have to nibble on something. So I really do appreciate you trying to bridge the gap and share our traditional cuisine with the world. It's very important. You do have some fans out there that have sent greetings. April is in Sault Ste. Marie, and she says hello.
Hello, April.
We've got, I'm not sure on the name, but it's Ki Siop On, and says good luck at becoming the #1 chef in the world.
Oh, what? That's encouraging.
And all the best from Seth Fieldman, also Gloria Harris, and Loretta Brown says, decolonize our diets. So you've got some support there. So that's a pretty big goal, is to share our cuisine with the world. And I'll share this with you. As I mentioned before, I'm a 60 scoop survivor, and my adoptive family, they were well-to-do, and my father, God rest his merry soul, he fancied himself a chef, and in World War II, he served in England, and he actually served King George, I think the 5th. He served him at Buckingham Palace. He was part of the chefs that prepared his meal for a big royal event. And I thought, it wasn't that something, you know? But here you are, in my opinion, a youth, and you're trying to do something that is exceptional, and that is share our cuisine with the world. What about something like that? Would you try to serve food to the royal family or other kings and queens around the world?
Oh, absolutely, Gary. That would be a huge honor. If they see this video and they invite me, I could come over and represent us.
Of course. Now you say, like you've talked about your moose stew and a lot of your venison, um, uh, uh, I guess, preparations. And so you actually will go out and harvest your own food, like a moose or a deer, and then bring it back and prepare it. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah, that's great that you brought that up, because that's what I do. Not a lot of chefs could do that. I could catch my own fish. I could hunt my own moose. I could harvest my own mushrooms and harvest my own berries. And I love it doing that because I know the quality and the respect for that ingredient. And then I could take it and make it into something that's not really necessarily a blueberry, that looks like a blueberry, but could taste like moose meat, for example. So
Right.
I have my Harvard certification in molecular gastronomy. So yeah.
Right. A food scientist. That's a pretty interesting tag to have. We've got Frances in the chat room, and she says that she was becoming hungrier and hungrier as you proceeded with your presentation. You're making everybody hungry.
Well, I hope one of these days, you guys could check out all my my Instagram and my Facebook and my LinkedIn and my TikTok, just going on and on. But yeah, if anybody wants to see my food more, a lot of my content is on every social media platform out there. So if you haven't seen it on here, go look on there. You're gonna find a lot of stuff.
Danica says she's eating partridge stew even as we speak.
My favorite. That's one of my favorites.
My wife is a big, she watches Top Chef Canada, the Top Chef programs. If I leave her alone in the room for 5 minutes, she switches the TV over from the hockey game to some sort of a cooking show. So that's good. But you spoke about your education, and it sounds like there's different facets of your education that you had to follow. In fact, you said that you didn't even know that you wanted to become a chef. It's just kind of presented itself to you, and you followed that journey. But maybe tell the youth that are watching, or some of the teachers or parents, how much work it actually takes to become a chef.
Wow, that's a great question, Jerry. It takes a lot of work. It took me about 14 years to get to where I am. And just getting your culinary management diploma doesn't make you a chef necessarily, but it's a great start because it gives you the theoretical knowledge and it gives you the practical knowledge to chop through vegetables efficiently. So it takes, and then a lot of chefs, they just get a culinary management diploma, but getting a culinary degree takes another 3 years to learn like that real logical science and behind managing a lot of aspects of front of house and back of house. So there's a fine gap there.
But students who want to be like you, they have to understand that they can't start at the top. They have to start, as a dishwasher.
Yeah, that is true, Jerry, because you got to understand all operations. You cannot just walk into something thinking that I know it by learning it. You have to really execute it to really know what it entails to do that position.
Right. Now, people on Top Chef and some of these big worldwide cooking shows, unlike yourself, they wouldn't know how to down a moose or down a bear or down anything. I think they just go to the butcher and get a nice piece of meat and then bring it back to their, or have someone go and pick out meat and they bring it back to the kitchen and they prepare it. Whereas you are using traditional methods right from the beginning of the recipe to the finished plate. And that is certainly something that is unique, I think, in the world of chef.
Oh, Jerry, man, you're asking such amazing questions. These are great questions because most chefs cannot do this type of butchery. A lot of them, yes, you're right. They have to go to a grocer, a professional butcher, because everybody has their professions. And that's how everything works in this life, is that you have to be a professional at something. And most chefs, it takes a lot of work just to become a chef, but to have best, like both worlds, I'm so blessed, you know? That's why combining traditional knowledge, teachings and practices is huge to my upbringing here as being a professional culinarian. I actually think it's a huge and great question that you asked there.
Now, here's something. This might get controversial. I've been at some conferences and chatted with some elders, and they have suggested that as Indigenous people, we don't share certain things about our cultures with other people. So is there anything taboo about sharing our traditional recipes with the rest of the world, or should we keep it to ourselves, do you think?
I really believe that we should share everything. We live in a day and age now where you can Google anything. And I think anything is just going to be found out eventually. But I really think because we're in that mindset of not sharing things, that's why our cuisine is not at a heightened state. The French took our ingredients and made it big with their own name. It's our turn to take our own ingredients, to take our own traditions and everything, and take technology and science, and let's take our cuisine to the next level.
I'm watching a TV series. That's the thing about the pandemic and the lockdown, is that we all had to stay home and find new TV shows. And one of them that my wife really likes, and now I'm a fan, is Stanley Tucci exploring Italy and all the traditional recipes and wines and cheeses that they do. And it's a really great series. It's in depth. And I think that would be something that, an Indigenous chef might look into, searching for Indigenous cuisine, but you go to the communities and you talk to the elders and see how they prepare a dish. Maybe it's a lot different than the way you actually prepare it, because they don't have access to all the exotic spices or ingredients that you might have in a professional kitchen. So there might be a difference there. But I think getting back to the land and getting Indigenous traditional recipes directly from our elders and Kukums would make an excellent TV show.
Oh, I agree 100%, Jerry. I agree 100. And you're just making me super excited, because when I got into this industry, I had like big plans and goals and dreams. And what you just said right now was kind of one of my things I had on paper. I have about like 20 books stacked up in my office, higher than me, of how much I've learned over the years. I have some publications that I've been writing with my culinary degree about battling the food insecurity crisis in northern parts of Ontario, Canada. And that would be a huge TV show, I would think, in my perspective, to go out to these communities and really highlight and showcase our cuisine.
And let's talk about the nutritional value. I have type 2 diabetes, and there are so many type 1 diabetics out there that traditional foods, you'd be able to promote a healthy diet, a nutritious diet through traditional meals.
Yeah, I think that is one of my number one goals, is because a lot of my family has diabetes too. And actually our cuisine prevented a lot of these diseases that we have today. I think if we could just highlight and teach our next generation of Indigenous chefs how to present and prepare these ingredients to the most maximum value, that we could actually prevent a lot of diabetes out there, I think.
Right, getting back to the traditional, to the traditional way, because sugar, I don't think, was a big part of our people's diet back in the day before the Europeans arrived. They brought a lot of, I guess, ingredients that just didn't agree with our diet, our system.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, that's natural sugar is a huge part of our diet, though. Blueberries, wild strawberries, rhubarb, or I don't know rhubarb, but I mean eating a lot of whole grains, wild rice, and there's a lot of vegetables out there too, wild ramps. There's pickerel weed. Pickerel weed is one of the things that our people harvested in the lake beds where walleye live.
And do you miss getting out on the lake and harvesting wild rice?
Yeah, I miss back at home because I'm like 1,500 kilometers away from home. But you got to understand, Jerry, that this is a huge opportunity for me. Not a lot of Indigenous chefs get the opportunity to be executive chef of a huge operation with 3 kitchens and the opportunity to build a culinary program from the ground up. So I promise you're going to be seeing me out there pretty soon because I'm going to be applying for Top Chef Canada and I'm going to be applying for a lot of things. But definitely, I can't do this unless I have the support of my people. So anybody out there viewing and seeing us talk right now, please try to follow me on all my social medias or reach out to me because I will more than likely and more than happily reach back.
All right. Before as we wrap this up, because we're almost out of time, and I've gone through the chat room here, so we've kind of brought you up to date on what people are thinking out there. What educational institutions did you go to, and maybe like high school, and then when you went to college, and then the university, and maybe name some of the schools that you've attended?
Yeah, so I went to my high school. I went to was Nipissing Red Rock District High School. After that, I worked with the forestry program by Outland, the First Nation Natural Resources Youth Employment Program. I did 5 years of leadership training with them to learn about forest ingredients and stuff like that, and working with forestry thing. But I also went to Confederation College for my culinary management diploma. Then afterwards, I went to my culinary degree in the Culinary Institute of Canada, a real prestigious school. Then afterwards, I went to Harvard University online to get my molecular gastronomy certification. And I have a lot of other accolades and publications too. I was featured in Wawate News. I was featured in, in the New York Times for building up a 10-course tasting menu in Thunder Bay at Uptown Cut. I was in a couple other publications too, but yeah.
All right. And here's one quick question. How much funding did you have to get to go to school? Did you have to apply for grants, or did your band provide the funding for you to continue with your education throughout?
That's a great question, Jerry, and that hits home because I really struggled to get to where I am. The funding that I got was $500 a month to $800 a month. I got it increased from $500 to $800 a month. I really broke down a lot of barriers in my career and getting to here. But Jerry, it's been a tough and long ride, but I'm finally ready. It molded me into the man I am now and the chef I am now, and I'm ready to take on all the challenges that come at me.
Well, Amede, it's been an honor to have heard your story, and thank you for sharing with our viewers out here today.
Oh, it froze again.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like we lost Jerry the Big Bear. Jerry is in Winnipeg. They're experiencing some power outages, and Jerry may have lost power again. So, Chef Amede, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very insightful, and everything looked delicious. And we wish you all the best in your career. And I'm sure we're all going to be working to get you ready to go on Top Chef. Once again, we just want to remind everybody the Play to Win code for this session is delicacy. And we are going to get ready to move on to a short break for our next session. Once again, Chef Amede, thank you very much, and we'll see everybody in the next session.